And now, a thought from Mann. I really thought with Netflix's new series, The Hollow, it was going to be pretty engaging, you know? I went in not really knowing anything about it and just saw a trailer that made it look pretty interesting. And after watching it, it's okay at best. It's not downright terrible, but there's nothing that great about it. It's kind of bare minimum of a mystery series. It started out pretty promising, but as it goes on, you pick up where it's going and you figure out the mystery in halfway through. I started thinking it was great when I finished it, but then I sat for a minute and realized, yeah, this is kind of disappointing. That sucks, but at least I can say it didn't hurt me. That's always a decent sign, right?
Yeah, those are the top two questions.
The series is created by a whole team of writers whose works include League of Super Evil, Rated A for Awesome, Kid vs. Kat, and strangely enough, The Andy Dick Show and Jackass. So it's just kind of that weird amalgamation of writers who you would think maybe they could make some sort of interesting series, but as I said, this is just kind of middle of the road. It's not great, it's just kind of something you would expect a little more with their premise starting off so strong. The premise is about this trio of teenagers who wake up in a mysterious room with no memory of how they got there or who they are and must traverse a strange land with special abilities to find a way home, coming across puzzles and strange creatures and characters. The mystery element of the show does make you want to find out what's going on with the kids and this world they live in, but as you figure out what's happening and you start meeting all these characters, you're like, something feels very familiar. You know, you just feel like something's just at the back of your head scratching, telling you, I've seen something like this very much before. And I just feel like that's something that really is kind of a detriment, that it feels like something you've seen already beat by beat. Like, I'm not saying you can't do something similar, but it's just, you don't want it to feel like this is just the same thing you've seen already.
Oh, right. Obviously, I knew that.
The main characters, for the most part, are kinda nice, but they do feel pretty basic. They manage to play off of each other pretty well, but you still can't help but feel like this feels like there should be a little more to it. I can feel a sense of camaraderie, but not that great feeling of camaraderie, something that makes me feel good about myself or feel good about my own group of friends. It just feels like we're kind of just getting by with the bare basics. You have Adam, who has super agility and a bit of super strength. He is kind of the self-appointed leader in a sense. He shows the most confidence out of everyone, so it makes sense he would be the leader. Sometimes they even allow him to have a bit of doubt in himself or even in his friends, so you do kind of get a sense of a dynamic with him. There's also Mira, who has the ability to listen to animals and breathe underwater and swim very well. She's more the no-nonsense type, which makes sense because she just wants to get back home, so she helps balance the group out if they're getting off track. Granted, that doesn't mean she has a major stick up her ass. She will, you know, be silly or say some goofy things every now and then, or even kind of distract from the mission every now and then. Then there's Kai, who's pretty much the coward of the three. His abilities include being tech savvy. Not really that great of an ability, but it's useful to some extent whenever they need like some type of technical stuff fixed. And he also has the ability to control fire. Now that is what you call an ability. Something like that can definitely help you pretty much. He's the overall goofball of the group, but generally a chicken. He can be annoying with how cowardly he is, and granted, whenever he has doubts about something, he's usually right, so he does help to keep the group on their toes, but sometimes he also can be kind of stupid in a lot of his decision makings. He can trust things or trust people that clearly you just shouldn't trust, that it's like obvious they're screwing with you. So there's kind of that flaw. I had a big problem with liking him because he also could be very whiny and complain so much. It's like, oh my god, I get it, you're in a bad situation, but shit, man, shut the fuck up. Like, Mira and Adam know keep a cool head while you're just complaining and complaining. Like, god, shut up. So that was just my major gripe with him. The group overall does work together and you do get that feeling of camaraderie, but like I said, they just feel bare bones. They don't really feel that well fleshed out. It just feels like, yeah, they're a good group of friends that enjoy each other's company and help each other out every now and then using these abilities. And I just feel like you could have had more with them. We could have maybe gotten a backstory with them, but sadly, with them not knowing who they are, we just didn't get that. So that's just kind of the disappointing thing about this series, or at least one of the disappointing things, because there's some pretty disappointing things in this.
You coming?
She's just lonely.
Who's lonely?
The owl. She's lonely.
Oh. Okay.
Why do I know that?
You're Mira, you're good at puzzles, and apparently you speak owl.
I'm starting to think I'm pretty cool.
We should probably go before Kai realizes he's all alone up there.
Hey! I'm all alone up here! Where are you guys?
The world the characters have to traverse through has a lot of variety to it. Like, they come across characters like the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, who are surprisingly fun, or even this very stupid Cyclops who kind of recognizes, like, once they've left that, you know, I'm an idiot. It can kind of get a good laugh out of me. There's also this purple guy who occasionally helps them. He further adds to the mystery because you have no idea what his intentions are. But as the show progresses, you start to recognize something's off about the world, and you start to realize pretty early on, oh, I know what's up. And that's just kind of the thing about it. It's like the variety is kind of a detriment to the series. These colorful environments and characters, you start to realize, this feels like very familiar territory, and I just really think that's just something they could have thought about a lot better. Like, there were ways you could easily have done this much better.
You think this is some kind of game?
The animation is done in Flash and is akin to the Legend Quest series, except it has a better sense of shading. It honestly looks a little bit nicer, but at the same time you still get a feeling of cheapness that kind of works against the series. It's not too distracting, but you can't help but feel like, oh, this is pretty much lacking in the animation department. You just wish it had better visuals to go along with this type of story. But there's not much you really can do. It's just kind of how people like doing it. Flash is easier to produce, so this is kind of what we get with a lot of TV shows. And that's just kind of something that does hurt it significantly. The overall comedy of the show is more in the lines of just plain relief. It's not the most clever, it's not the greatest, it's not something that'll have you pissing your pants with laughter. It's just on the lines of, it kind of helps ease the tension, which I can appreciate every now and then. It's like, yeah, you know, that was a tense moment, let's kind of ease things down a bit. I can kind of appreciate them for deciding, hey, we're just gonna chill a little bit and just kind of smooth things over. So there's that little nice tidbit about it.
Light fix? Happy place? Goody, goody! Wow, me really dumb.
So the end of the series reveals that the whole thing was a video game challenge they all signed up to play. It even changes to live action. This twist honestly was something that it works for this series, but you still can't help feel like I knew this was going to happen. Like at episode 5, I kind of figured out, yeah, this must be some sort of simulation. It makes much sense because the world itself was such a non sequitur world, like a lot of video games. You had levels where it's like, okay, we have to deal with lava, or we have to deal with ice levels, zombies, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, spaceship, space in general. It's like, okay, nothing is connecting. If you're gonna have this type of world, it does need to connect to something. But once you realize, wait, because it's not connecting, it means it must be a video game, because that's the only time when you would see these crazy weird environments or these crazy weird characters. It's just so bad on that level because it's like, yeah, I knew this had to be some sort of simulation pretty early on. And I feel that's just sad, you know? It's like you had something going for you with the fact that they woke up in this mysterious land and didn't know who they were or where they were. And then you decide it's this bare minimum crap of this mystery. And it's like, shit, man, you had something, but you just really decided to do what someone else has already done. We've already seen the idea of, oh, it's all a simulation the whole time. That was the whole premise of the fucking Matrix. So honestly, it just kind of hurts to realize, yeah, this series is just so weak on that front, because like you could have made something great out of this, but you just made something we've seen before, and it's just very disappointing.
Good times, right?
This is pretty much an okay mystery series. You'll enjoy the world the characters have to explore and the strange characters they come across, and the ending is fitting, but it's just so predictable. You just feel like, yeah, that's what I figured this was all about. By pretty much episode 5, you pretty much realize, yeah, I know where you're going with this. And it's only 10 episodes. That's just kind of the problem there. It just really has such predictability to it, and that's just something that is a detriment to it. The animation works for the most part. It still feels like basic Flash series, but the characters can slightly make up for it because they kind of are enjoyable, but like I said, they are bare bones, so you will feel like, I wish there was a little more to them. This is overall just kind of a decent series that can be enjoyable depending on how you feel when you get up to, say, episode 5. It's ultimately okay at best, mediocre at worst. But that's just a thought.